The Japanese fighting dog breed Tosa Inu, despite its apparent aggressiveness, is beautiful and noble. Males are much larger than females. Their weight reaches 70 kilograms, although samurai claim that there are pets weighing up to 100 kilograms. At the withers, Tosa Inu reaches 70 centimeters. If the dog weighs less than 40 kilograms, then the animal is not allowed to fight. Do not participate in women's contests. In 1997, the official breed standard was adopted, which regulates the main standards. The height of the males is not less than 60 centimeters at the withers. The height of the bitch is not less than 55 centimeters. The dog weighs more than 40 kilograms and reaches 90 kilograms. The main characteristics of the breed. The dog has a wonderful muscular body. The spine is strong, with a wide chest and lower back. Keeps your back straight. Tosa Inu is fit. Straight ends. A wide head with a large muzzle instantly gives a fighting character. Hanging of the ears, the lower edge adjacent to the cheekbones, raised. Tosa Inu's eyes are especially attractive. A strict, smart look, expressing dignity. The body is covered with short, thick hair. The dog's color is represented by red and close shades peach, fawn. The dog's personality and behavior. When choosing a Tosa Inu dog at home, breeders should consider that handsome men do not claim to be the decoration of a city apartment. Its aggressiveness is dangerous for random people who are ready to provoke a dog to show fighting qualities. It is best to get a dog for people who have their own country house, a large yard, a cage and a walking area, as the possibility of harming others is excluded. The dog cannot be in the cold. No dampness and drafts are allowed in the cage. The Tosa Inu puppy character is made up of childhood. It is recommended to take a four-legged pet exclusively for people experienced in dealing with fighting breeds. Tosa Inu's hard to train, but easy to spoil. A small puppy, improperly bred, grows aggressive and uncontrollable. Behavior is unpredictable to strangers and their family members. With proper training, the puppy quickly finds contact with people and becomes the best companion. Outwardly, dogs seem menacing. In life, a calm and reliable dog. The description of the Tosa Inu breed speaks of exclusivity, and the dog surprisingly combines two contradictory personality traits: self-confidence, strength, fear, loyalty and care. The Tosa Inu breed is wary of strangers and aggressive towards other dogs. It is not necessary to engage in the formation of fighting qualities in the Japanese fighting dog Tosa Inu. These features are bestowed upon the dog by nature. It is much more important to teach your dog to remain calm if she lives in a home as a homekeeper. Key benefits will become an issue if not enough training or improperly conducted classes. Do not take Tosa Inu home if. Advertisement: there is no skill in breeding fighting dogs. There is no way for a dog to constantly walk outside of town. Children live in the house. Housing conditions are not suitable for large pets. For a dog's strength potential to be fully realized, the animal needs training and a long walk. The dog needs a chance to walk in the morning and evening. With permanent residence in a confined space and no walking area, the dog becomes depressed, sick, or shows aggression. You shouldn't risk taking the Tosa Inu dog for a walk without a leash or muzzle. Such caution is imperative. This is a manifestation of anxiety for others who could become victims of an animal. Care should be taken when receiving guests if this pet lives in the house. It is best to protect your dog from meeting strangers. On the leash, the dog should move freely, without coercion. It relies especially on leash driving. It is impossible to withdraw on this occasion. The cervical vertebrae may be displaced. Description of the Tosa Inu breed. According to the FCI classification, Tosa Inu belongs to the second group, Pinschers and Schnauzers, Molossoid, Mountain and Swiss cattle dogs. Section 2, Molossoid, subsection 2.2, dogs such as molasses and mountain cattle dogs. The standard is published under number 260, its most recent revision referring to the 9th of December 1997. Other names for Tosa Inu: Tosa, Tosaken, Tosa Token, Kari, Japanese Mastiff. The standard indicates that the dog was used in the past as a fighting dog, but now its main purpose is a keeper. Tosa Inoue is a great security guard and bodyguard temperament. Tosa Inu. The following personality traits in Tosa Inu align with the standard. Advertisement: despite the fact that they belong to the fighting dogs, there is no aggression and anger in Tosa Inu. Of course, we are talking about indigenous actors. Therefore, this breed can be considered as a companion. She is calm and friendly. Despite the innate activity, the dog, on the orders of the owner, can lie for a long time away from common affairs, without betraying his presence. Tosa Inu will not bark at the door every suspicious sound. There is no need to be afraid of family guests. There is no animosity in it. But the dog will not show friendship with strangers, even if the person often appears in the master's house. You will always be wary of him, even lying in a seemingly comfortable position. The owner must be alert. Tosa Inu attacks in absolute silence, without warning the enemy by barking. Learning to set a pet's intent follows his facial expressions, and that takes a lot of experience. Pathologists do not recommend isolating the dog when guests appear in the house. It is very important to be close to and protect the owner. This dog is a good bodyguard. But, of course, it is necessary to socialize the pet even in the period of puppies, and in the future to constantly enhance the behavioral skills in the community of strangers. Pets are fiercely dedicated to the owner and the family. But the owner should immediately indicate his leading position. That is why it is not recommended to bring dogs of this breed to people who do not have sufficient experience and to communicate with representatives of dangerous breeds. However, the dog is well equipped and, if possible, a dominant position will not waste this opportunity. The owner of Tosa Inu should become an indisputable authority. Tosa Inoue loves her family's children, but it's hard to imagine her as a playmate. Instead, she will take an unyielding stance, and stand up for herself if necessary. It is strictly forbidden to leave young children alone with such a dog. It is possible for the child to cross the boundaries of what is permissible with regard to the pet, and in this case, the pet may show aggression. Advertisement: Tosa Inu is quiet about cats and rodents, but only if you grow up with them. You are unlikely to be happy with a new pet. I am worried about dog fighting. Stories that these creatures are the most attractive, best and completely free from aggression cannot convince me that in a moment far from perfect, a dog will not catch his throat if he does not like something loud. Hand-waving, of course. This is my personal opinion. Nothing is supported by anything. There is little experience with dogs, but I caution against owning such a pet. It is better to admire them from the side, and more preferably in photographs. Tosa Inu should not start families, as it is difficult to force a person to walk with a pet. This dog is not suitable for a slow turn of neighboring streets. It is simply necessary to go out with him, or even go out to the extension, in the woods, the field. Also, calculate in advance whether you can keep at least 40 to 60, or even 80 kilograms of tense muscles on a leash if needed. To reduce possible manifestations of aggression, the dog should be constantly under the control of the owner. Pet training and breeding should last most of his life. Table: deviations from breed criteria and causes of disqualification: defects, ground for ineligibility, light skeleton, narrow face, slight overflow or down, aggressiveness or cowardice, mouth excess or excess testis, testicles descending into the scrotum in males. Attributes of security and guarding: four-legged sumo. This is the name of the Tosa Inu breed in Japan. This name arose because Tosa is in many ways similar to heavy sumo wrestlers. The Japanese Mastiff was born like a fighting dog. He is heavy, large, fearless, practically insensitive to pain, has a solid and strong character. Advertisement: in the modern world, dog fights are prohibited, but they are still organized illegally, and the Tosa Inoue often becomes a participant and a winner. In addition to the ideal fighter, the Japanese Mastiff is able to be an excellent companion, bodyguard, but subject to serious training and early socialization. The highest population of Tosa Inu is observed in Japan. In other countries of the world it is not common. Other names: Japanese Mastiff, Tosa Token, Tosa Fighting Dog, Tosa Ken, Tosa Carry. Tosa Inu: care and maintenance of dogs. Since the Tosa Inu is such a large dog, keeping them in an apartment can be a nuisance to animals and people. The ideal option for this breed is a spacious enclosure in a private house, where the dog can remain almost throughout the warm season. But in winter you still need to keep the dog at home. Places for sleeping and eating should be allocated, which must be strictly adhered to. During the period of estrus and pregnancy, the bitch should be protected from moisture and drafts. In the cold season, Japanese Mastiffs are allowed into the house. You can do this on the veranda, as it will be equipped with a place to sleep and eat. A daily walk is required for the Tosa Inu, even if kept in the cage. Firstly, it supports the socialization of the dog, and secondly, it needs loads that are simply not in the cage. While walking in the city, it is necessary to use a muzzle and drive the dog on a leash. Their large size and weight not only frighten children, but also adult pedestrians. The length of the leash should be adjusted so that the dog does not feel restrained, but at the same time does not interfere with passers-by. You can only leave the leash in specially designated fenced areas or in forests and parks where there are no other people or dogs around. The owner is obligated to keep the pet constantly in his field of vision and not to let him go away. You need to lower the Japanese Mastiff from the leash only in uninhabited places. Bathing should be infrequent. 2 to 3 times a year will be enough. If the wool is contaminated, wipe it off with a damp towel. After walking, it is allowed to wash the paws with warm water without the use of detergents. The hair is combed twice a week with a rubber glove. To give it shine after this procedure, you can walk in the direction of hair growth with a piece of cloth or woolen cloth. Metal combs and spots are not used, as they will damage the pet's skin. The ears are checked daily and cleaned as necessary, when a dirty layer forms in them. Special attention is paid to the folds of the skin on the neck. It can form a diaper rash, especially in the hot season. To avoid stiffening, they are daily wiped with a soft cloth. First wet, then dry. In the cold season, this procedure can be performed 2 to 3 times a week. If the claws do not naturally grind on stony or asphalt soil, they are cut with special scissors. Teeth are cleaned once a week with veterinary brushes and toothpaste. Additionally, you can be given special dental treatments that help get rid of plaque. The dog must be accustomed to any hygienic procedures from a very young age, otherwise it will be impossible to perform them in an adult. Pet care is always a routine. However, as with all short-haired breeds, the Tosa Inu has an advantage here. You do not need to be constantly combed. It is sufficient to collect dust and dead hair from the body once a week using a rubber glove or a soft bristled brush. Sumo dogs are washed less frequently, once every 3 months, or better in general when they get dirty. What you have to play with a little bit is the pet's face. First, the tuber tokens are born, Mastiff genes. There's nothing to do, so get ready to clean your dog's lips and chin several times a day with a dry cloth. Second, the slight folding of the skin on the animal's head requires certain measures to avoid the appearance of dermatitis. In particular, wrinkles must be ventilated, cleaned and dried regularly. All this can be done with cotton buds, napkins, antiseptic solutions such as chlorhexidine or meramystin, as well as any salicylic zinc ointment. Tosa Inu should be cleaned once a week. The ear loop tightly attached to the cheekbones prevents air from entering, which stimulates the secretion of sulfur and excessive moisture of the animal into the shell. Because of this, Tosa's hearing aids need daily ventilation. Raise your ear and face slightly, and force air into the funnel. A few times a week, Tosa Token is supposed to brush his teeth at a private zoo. Solid vegetables and fruits are also suitable for preventing dental disease. Dogs are always willing to chew on something and will overlook a grown carrot or turnip. By the way, at the first signs of tartar, it is not necessary to immediately lead a Japanese Mastiff to a veterinarian. Sometimes the sediment is easy to remove with an ordinary bandage soaked with chlorhexidine. Price Tosa Inu. Since it is still very difficult to purchase Tosa Inu in Japan, most citizens continue to buy individuals from American, European, and even Russian airlines. At the same time, it is important to understand that European and American individuals will only be like Japanese tribesmen abroad. In order to have a seasoned character and combat training, Tosa must be born in the land of the rising sun, from Asian producers. As for the cost, the standard price for Japanese Mastiff puppies in Russian and Ukrainian nurseries ranges from 50,000 to 65,000 rubles. Promising offspring of heroes already cost about 75,000 rubles and above.